believe I have my microphone fixed. Okay, so hopefully you can hear the difference already. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. That's a picture of me from that bus trip over the weekend that I was talking about. Yes, I had a cold one while I was there because I'm a grown up and I can do that sort of thing. Okay. Again, there's so many people that would be, oh, they drink alcohol. Oh, yeah. Well, how much sugar do you put in your body, sir, ma'am? Do you know what I mean? Some of these people that say this stuff, they're like 100 pounds freaking overweight. And it's like, you want to judge me? My bill of health is fine. My blood work is fine. You know what I mean? So get out there and enjoy and live your life, right? Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Okay. So I'm going to start with some tarot. And yes, here's my Moonology deck that I wanted to use also because we just had that wonderful blue moon. If you are able to view it tonight, please do it. Go out and do so because it was pretty cool looking the other day. Also Venus, highly visible. It's probably the brightest planet out there that's visible. And then just up from Venus is Jupiter. Okay. And it was visible to the like the northwest area. Okay. In the early evening. 6 of Cups. How about that? 2 of Swords. Ugh, well, pesky 2 of Swords. Hermit card. We had that one earlier today. 4 of Cups. 5 of Wands. Yeah, you're not fighting over it. Moon card. Literally. Literally. See those guys? Where is this at? I don't know why this isn't. There it is. Maybe I'm moving it too fast for the settings here. I'm trying to use this green screen feature, but it's not working for me very well. Obviously. And on the underside, Temperance card, Sagittarius. It was a Sagittarius full moon. We're cutting the crap. Moving away from the childish behavior. There's like literally children on the 6 of Cups card. So this could be one of those things where somebody's like, oh, do you want to get together? And blah, blah, blah. And you're like, yeah, if, you know, it's going to be cool. But otherwise, no. And with this 2 of Swords here, they might want you to feel pressured. They might want you to feel blinded into a choice and forced into a choice. Whereas with the Hermit card, you're like, look, I was doing okay without this reunion. I will be okay with or without it. You know what I mean? So especially with this 4 of Cups and this 5 of Wands down here, somebody wanted to put you in competition. Somebody wanted to make you feel like you were missing out. And I think the universe is actually offering you this cup here because it's like it knows you're going to know what to do with it. And this moon card, she's like looking up at the sky, dreaming. It's like, yes, you know, you're going to put that emotional energy to good use. Okay. And that might be why the 6 of Cups came out first. But you know, I'm just saying you're not going to be reuniting for the sake of reuniting. Okay. And with Temperance on the bottom, patient. Yeah, you could have multiple people coming towards you and be like, oh yeah, I want to get together. I want to get together. And you could be like, oh, sit there with the moon for a minute and wonder why, right? Because it's like, well, they didn't want to get together before. So what changed now? And for some people with this 5 of Wands here, it's still in the mix where it's like, yeah, that might be for other people. You know what I mean? Not for me. Kind of deal, right? Okay. Anyway, so let's see what the Moon Oracle deck has to say in addition to this tarot that we just pulled. Again, moon, be Pisces, Cancerian energy. Hermit is Virgo. All right, and then we have Temperance with Sagittarius. Work through your fears. All right. So if this is a reunion of sorts and you have some anxiety about it, maybe that's just something you need to address, okay? Hold your vision. Okay. So this, like, all right, it doesn't matter what choices somebody presents me. It doesn't matter what somebody else says. I have a vision, and you know, even if others can't see it right now with the blindfold, you know what I mean? So that's when one of those things people be like, oh, well, where is it? Where is it? Where? It's like, you know what? Sit down, shut up. You're not the teacher here. I don't have to turn my assignment into you. You know what I mean? Some of these people is like, who died and made you the authority on anything? Right? So this says here, be bold and make the first move, Hermit. So if you have been in Hermitage, believe in the impossible, blue moon. Look at that. Again, I'm trying to show you guys this card. I don't know why it's not. This green screen feature is not really working with me today. Anyway. So, you know, as you sit here with the Four of Cups, right? And sometimes that is a feeling of, you know, am I getting left out? What am I going to even do with these cups? Like, this is saying you're not preparing for nothing. Okay? Your preparedness is still needed by the universe. Okay, and with the Hermit card here where it says be bold, make the first move, maybe this is one of those things where it's like you've been working on something, some kind of solo project, and you're like, oh, you know, back in the old day, we used to do a peer review before we released it to the public. You don't have to do that. You are the review, right? So this be bold, make the first move, this is like, you don't have to ask permission from nobody. Ni nadie. Yeah, I know they say double negative is bad in English, but in other languages, it is emphasized so that you know. What the actual answer is. Okay? A win-win outcome is forecast. So on this Five of Wands here, like, yeah, they might be kung fu fighting and you're like, well, I'm still winning over here. I'm not fighting over these scraps. You're making moves, you're believing in the impossible, which might, you know, be that belief in yourself, right? Because we're all taught in numerous ways. The answers you need are coming and nothing is yet set in stone. We're all taught in numerous ways, you know, into this group think, right? And so on this answers you need are coming here with this Gemini, and on the picture of the card, it has two faces, you know, representing the twins of the Gemini, which if you look at Venus and Jupiter right now, it is visible within the constellation of Gemini. So that might be useful for somebody. Also, Gemini is opposite of Sagittarius on the astrological wheel, and the is the Sagittarian Temperance card. Sagittarius not necessarily known for being patient, right? That's something that we have to work on. You know, Sagittarius is like, yeah, I'm ready to bust in there and I'm gonna fix it all up, right? And then we realize, ooh, sometimes it's like there's a whole ball of wax in here that we got to do sometime, right? So if you've been waiting on those answers, the answers you need are coming. Okay. And also, because it appears one way, here it says nothing is set in stone. So with this moon card, so releasing the expectations of, oh, if it doesn't look like so-and-so's success story, then mine won't be successful either. No, that's not even remotely, you know what I mean? And that's the thing, is some people get caught up in that group think mentality. Like, oh, I can't make a move without this person. I can't make a move without that person. Really? They make moves away from you all the time. But I kind of got that in a little bit in the corporate world, especially when I was in a certain office. It was like it was like everything we did. It was like you always like were moving as a group, and it was very, for somebody like me who was very independent. It was quite annoying at times because I don't like waiting on other people. Like, like I felt like I was hurting children or something, like I was on babysitting duty, but you're not getting paid. The famous line from the Goonies, she's like, I feel like I'm babysitting, but I'm not getting paid. All right. If you have that thought at all, that's like the realization that you're an adult. And maybe some of the other people around you are not, either they're not adults or they're not very good at adulting, period. Whereas you are. All right, so I'm going to get this Lover's Oracle here and see what's going on with some of this moonology, some of this emotion, which I don't feel like this is a heavy emotional moon. Again, the Sagittarian energy, the cut the crap energy, it's like, what is the truth? So maybe that's part of your fear here, is like knowing what the real truth is, knowing like what is the purpose of this reunion. Okay. Is it, reuniting for, whose benefit and why, right? Especially if this is something where it's like, yeah, I thought you were around the last time, but that didn't seem to matter. So, you know what I mean? Oh, it says here, life without you is hopeless, dark, and depressing. I miss your light. So with this Two of Swords with the blindfold, this person could be feeling in the dark because they don't have you, right? And you're still so focused on your vision. It's like you don't know if you're going to make it back, or you're not spinning the block like some of these folks are, trying to catch a glimpse or trying to make sure they didn't miss something. You know what I mean? That's going to get, right? So yeah, some people could be realizing that they just waited too long. There's those stories on Reddit and wherever else in these articles, and it's people that haven't gotten over somebody from 10, 15, 25 years ago. Did they really think you were still going to be waiting there? What's that movie, Where the Heart Is, with Natalie Portman and Ashley Judd? And she goes, and her baby daddy's like in the hospital and stuff. And she's like, you really think I'll still be waiting there at the Walmart, Bobby D? Or, whatever the hell's name was. Okay. Because in their mind, that's where they left you. And yeah, lo and behold, life moved on without them, right? So this Hermit card, yeah, says I can't make a decision. Yeah, this person is just like in stuck energy, whereas you being bold, making the first move, you're like, look, that's all good and well for you being confused, but I got things to do over here. So I'm going to make that move. I might be alone. I might not be, life of the party, the Hermit card, but that doesn't mean I'm not making moves in my own way, right? Says here, I am better with my mind than my heart. Okay. Yeah. Will this person come around? You could believe in the impossible and say maybe they will. But, the proof is in the pudding. Are you just going to waste, 25 years of your life because so-and-so couldn't make a decision back in, whatever friggin' decade. And here's the thing too, if they haven't progressed from that, that means they haven't really grown as a person. And it's like, is that somebody that you want to be around? Somebody that cannot grow and change as a person? You know what I mean? That would be a little mind-boggling. I can't stop thinking about you. So that Five of Wands, yeah, that could be their mind going around in circles. That could even be people kind of competing for your attention. And they want to be like, oh, I can't stop thinking about you. Okay, well. This says, I don't want to be alone. So over this full moon, this person could have been thinking about this. The thing is, collective, they might not want to be alone, but is it they don't want to be without you, or they just don't want to be alone? Do you know what I mean? I wrote a song about this called, the name of the song is called Insert Woman Here, because it's like some people just want a placeholder. On the bottom it says, I don't want to be who I used to be. You deserve better. Yeah, see? And that's the thing. Some of these people, they're trying to scoop you up as a placeholder. And you deserve better than that. You deserve somebody who thinks you're pretty cool from the get, from the jump. And these people were ready to throw you in the trash bin. So, like what would be the point of that? What would be the point of that? To me, that would be you wasting your energy. Now, you could be feeling this too, saying, you don't want to be alone and things of that nature. But here it also says the answers you need are coming. Okay, so I wouldn't get too hung up on it, especially if you're at the point that you are now. I'm going to go ahead and do the romance angels since some of this came out a little lovey-dovey. So let's see what's ahead for the collective here with the romance angels. Okay. Sometimes when we look at the moon, when we get in touch with nature, when we become patient with ourselves, when we isolate in hermitage, we understand how we actually do want to come into reunion with people, right? With the Six of Cups and what we want that to look like. So what is the truth? What is your truth in that situation? How did you picture it being? Is it even close? Do you have any of the elements of that there? Right? Attraction, you attract romantic love by enjoying this moment fully. Okay, so if you have any fears, work through them and say, you know what, I deserve to have attraction. I deserve romantic love, right? Because sometimes romantic love gets very messy. You could have some fears about that, saying, I don't know if I want to get together with somebody new, right? Because you have that fear. Don't let that fear of, being with so-and-so who was a dipshit, right, hold you back from the next thing. Very soon it says, clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. Okay, so that's with the hold your vision. Forgiving and learning. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moments. Okay, so that could be one thing you're being asked to do in terms of making the first move of, forgiving yourself, releasing, past expectations. That's a good way to look at the full moon energy is, okay, it came and now it went. Women will understand this, I think, more easily with your moon cycle, right? With your menstrual cycle. Okay. Because it's like you have this build up, and then you have this release, the shedding of, your lining there. Okay. And some of you might be coming to a point where you're releasing that altogether. because, you know, when women go through the change, they don't have that type of release anymore. They don't have to worry about that anymore. Okay? And then you got, you know, Pokey Joe over here saying, well, I can't make a decision. And you're like, look, I got, I ain't slowing down to worry about you right now. You know, they might need to forgive and release and heal and do all that kind of stuff. Things that you've already been doing in Hermit. Codependency addictions are affecting your romantic life. Okay. Says better with my mind than my heart. So this could be something that you're still working through, or they are. For some people, you know, yes, it could be, you know, the traditional toxins, such as, you know, when people talk about alcohol and things like that. You know, for some people, it's gambling. For some people, it's overeating. For some people, it's sex addiction, right? And if you're not doing any of that stuff, okay, where it's like you can't function. That's the thing, is some people can still kind of function through codependency, right? But not say live fully. But this is asking you to believe in the impossible. So, you know, I'm not a believer in, oh, you have to be 100% sober and you have to be at your ideal weight and you have to be this and this and this in order to be loved. No, that's not true. And whoever told you that, that was a lie. So believe in the impossible, what you didn't think was possible. People be like, well, you go out to the bar and then. Okay, well, you know what? At least 50% of the people that I know that are married met their significant other in a bar. I'm not saying it's going to work that way forever, but you know what I mean? It's like people want to naysay, but then when they look in the mirror, it's like, well, who are you even talking to? So for some of you, this addictions are affecting your romantic life. I'm not feeling that for you so much, collective, but this could have been a problem with whoever this person is, especially when they're saying they think better with their mind than their heart. But obviously their mind drives them to make maybe not so great decisions if they're facing addictions. Okay. Worth waiting for. Divine timing is at work in your love life. Okay. So that could go with this win-win outcome is forecast, where you run into the right person and then it's like, yes, I can win with this person and they're going to win with me. You know what I mean? Versus before, when people were looking at you, well, what are they going to do for me? What do I get out of the situation? What do you bring to the table? You know what I mean? Talking like that. Instead of respecting you as an individual to begin with from the jump. And women do it too, but a lot of men will do it too, and they'll be like, oh, well, I want somebody younger that doesn't know anything so I can manipulate them, right? You know, is that who you're waiting for? Because if that's who you're waiting for, then yeah, maybe you do have a codependency issue. It is safe for you to love. Open your heart to give and receive the biggest energy of all. Okay, so that might be the answer that is coming for you. Okay, and then free yourself. It's time to take back control of your life. Okay, so yeah, whoever was offering you these scraps where it says you deserve better, yeah, you might be like, yeah, maybe it is just time for me to take control and realize that, you know, that it wasn't about what I brought to the table. It was that person wasn't good enough to sit at my table. That person wanted scraps. Well, you know where they serve scraps at? Out the back door of the restaurant, not actually inside the restaurant, sitting at a table where everybody can see you. You know? So you're just going to have to go out with your old girlfriend and post that shit on Instagram, right? Or the old guy or whoever. I'm here with my guys. Look at me. Ha ha. Yeah, you're supposed to be married, aren't you, bitch? Oh, it's only your third marriage? Oh, I get it. Yeah. Yeah. Ain't nobody feeling sorry for you at this point. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you can't find love after the first couple times, right? But for some people, it's just it's a mirage. It's a mirage. Okay? It really has nothing to do with love. Has nothing to do with sacrifice. It has nothing to do with becoming your higher self. It's about, taking the picture, right? And then, so they can, oh, well, I'm going to make so and so jealous. Well, I don't think you're making us jealous, but you are showing us who you are. And I guess, these days showing your ass is pretty popular, but just because it's popular doesn't mean it's good for you. Okay? Just remember that. Just because Megan Thee Stallion can twerk it and get likes and views. Okay? Do you know what I mean? That doesn't mean it's for you. Alrighty. That is all I have for this reading. So hopefully you guys, the audio is coming through better on this one, and we will see you next time. Until next time, please do manifest wisely. Bye-bye.